Hello, everybody, and welcome in to McCullough Motorsports Money Racing Live with the Little Dog Big Dog Series Championship from the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Well, after a little bit of a pre-race delay, getting everything set up last minute, I know these guys are antsy and ready to go. So let's get right into it. Your starting grid on the night for the championship race. Taking the pole, it's going to be Joshua McCullough on his outside. Starting second on the outside pole, it's going to be Samuel Carter in the 85 truck. David Sheets rolls off third to his outside. Garrett Maines, he will start fourth. Jason Maines and Nash Pravilla making up row number 3. It's going to be Aubrey Thompson back in 7th for Bar Racing. To his outside in 8th is Logan York in the 40 truck. Richard Elliott will roll off 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is Michael Triscaro in the 34 machine. John Mullihan, he will start 11th. The grid here tonight, Ron Morris Jr. not in the race. So actually, let's go ahead and back that up for a minute again. Grid going to be a little bit confusing here because some of these guys aren't actually in the race. We'll bunch this up a little bit more as they start to keep it accurate. Mark Vondell going to be rolling off actually in that 12th position then. Jeremy Osborne will be 13th. Jimmy Emos not racing. Kenneth Stamper not racing either. Neither is Troy Wilson. You might be asking yourself, well, why is the field small? Well, it's a championship race, and it's only the guys that made the championship, and of course their big dog teammates that is here joining them tonight. So we'll talk a little bit more about that format right after we go over the race info. Lights off on the pace car. That means 1 to go. Getting ready to get this thing rolling here on the night. Indeed, it is the championship race here tonight for the Little Dog Big Dog Series. Craftsman Truck Series, the series that we're in here tonight. The distance scheduled 60 laps. Everybody does have 75% fuel, unlimited tires, 1 fast pair if you need it. Fixed setups as always, and then 3 green-white checkers if we were to need those as well. So pretty simple format for how this works tonight, but the best way to explain it is to take a look at the left of your screen. On that scoring pylon, notice the letters next to each driver's names. Now, each driver has a matching letter with another driver, or I should say most of them. In this case, there's little dogs and big dogs. Now, for example, somebody such as a little dog in this case, or big dog, we'll say Garrett Maines, considered one of the big dogs. Notice he has an O next to his name. Jeremy Osborne, who's back in 12th, also has an O next to his name. He's considered a little dog. Whichever one of those lettered pairs has the highest average finish here at the end of tonight's race, it's going to take home the big money tonight, and we'll talk more about those payouts as we get closer towards the end of the race. And a couple guys that unfortunately don't have a teammate tonight. Joshua McCullough, the man who's sitting on pole, is one of those, so unfortunate break there, but nonetheless, still going to be going for it. You never know. Maybe he can get the job done here tonight. All right, lights off on the pace car. That means he's going to make the hard left turn to the pits. Rolling up to the Geico restart zone. Going to be for the first time tonight, but for the last time of the season. What a great season it was. Got to broadcast the first few. We're back for the finale. And all these guys are putting it all out on the line tonight. Green flag is in the air. Here we go for the final time at Talladega. Lap 1 complete, and it is going to go to the 12 machine of Garrett Maines, actually running the 1 truck here tonight. That's because he's getting a good push right now from Nash Brambilla. You see the 40 back in the mix as well. Logan York, one of the new additions to Blind Squirrel Racing, his normal team, but not tonight. Jeremy Osborne, another one of the Blind Squirrel Racing drivers, is who we already got one off. Falling big time there out of the draft. I believe that's Samuel Carter. Looks like he's going to be able to tuck back in line without any further incident. Mark Vondell gives him a spot to hop back up, so they stay 2x2 through the middle of the pack, but up front a little bit of single file action out, at least for the first 2 rows. Not for long. Garrett's going to jump back up top. He's going to pick up John Mullihan. Those two not teammates. Garrett trying to help control the lanes right now. Now, even if Garrett wins this race, He's not guaranteed to get the money. He needs Jeremy Osborne to put together a pretty good run as well. And you can see Osborne right now on the scoring pylon back in 12th. So watch for the 41 to try to advance through the field as Garrett Maines tries to hold his position currently. And, of course, the ideal scenario would be if you and your teammate could finish 1-2. You'd be able to get this thing locked up. And that's all it comes down to here tonight. So no matter what pit strategy you do, no matter how many laps you led, who got the pole, who runs the fastest lap, none of that matters. To win the big money tonight, you've got to put together the finish, and your teammate has to do the same as well. John Mullahan to the bottom of the racetrack. Going to pick up a draft now with Nash Brambilla up top. Big push to the back of Garrett Maines from Aubrey Thompson. Jason lined up there as well. Richard Elliott on the outside, back to 2x2 through the entirety of the pack. And right now, every truck that we had started this race is still running well with the lead draft. Nobody with any issues at this point. And that's some of the racing you're going to get when you have a small field of only 13 trucks. But again, these are the guys that had to fight and claw through the entire season and work together with either their big or little dog series teammate, if you will, to try to improve, figure things out, stack up the finishes needed to get to this point. And everybody that's in here, I don't think they're going to be calling themselves a little dog anymore once this thing is all said and done, if they can get the job done here tonight. But it is two Fords still leading the way, a Chevy behind. And row number 2, Nash Brambilla still third on the inside. But nobody daring to duck out 3 wide just yet. Michael Trasquero back in that 8th position right now. And another one of the drivers similar to Joshua McCullough, one of the drivers I was going to say in the opposite position of Joshua McCullough, who's running just about a row and a half in front of there on the outside. He's got a teammate tonight who's actually running just in front of him. Richard Elliott, Joshua McCullough on the opposite spectrum. Doesn't matter where he runs. His teammate is not here tonight. So his goal is just going to be, he's going to go all for it in terms of it's going to be a win or go for broke. I mean, doesn't really have many other choices. Certainly got to wonder, though, if he gets to win, does that mean his average finish is the best? We'll have to find out. And that one fast pair tonight, I thought we'd maybe see a little bit more dicing around right now, but everybody's sticking 2x2 through the first 5 laps. And it's 75% fuel, expecting that first pit stop. Probably right around somewhere, if I had to guess, maybe lap 24, give or take. And so, again, they can make it about 30 laps on a full tank of gas. Make it about 15 then on half a tank. Go somewhere right in the middle, maybe a couple less laps, maybe 22, 23. Here we go, move to the outside. Aubrey Thompson is going to split Garrett Maines, no help. Not sure if he was getting hot, just wanted to make a move or a little bit of both, but Richard Elliott, again, who would normally be a teammate to that 28 truck, not the case tonight. He's got his own agenda, working with his teammate, the 34 of Michael Trasquero, who's just behind him. As they rocket off of turn 2, those two are going to pick up another position each, as now Garrett and Jason Maines both lined up top. Garrett's going to drop back low. That'll allow Jason Maines to cool down as they rocket into turn number 3 and climb the over 30 degrees of banking. Garrett not having to worry about doing too much right now, just kind of controlling the lanes, making sure the temps stay even, trying to help keep himself out in front. But now Richard Elliott, who's got fresh temps on the outside, we'll see what he can do here with Jason Maines, as Michael Trasquero not quite to his back bumper just yet. And that third truck plays just as much of a role in terms of how strong that lane's going to be able to carry momentum. But right now, it's going to be the inside that's still able to hold the charge as they worked across the start-finish line that time. And looking at weather outside, 7:49 sim time, so pretty early in the morning here. Wind's nice and calm at 1 mile an hour, 82 degrees the track temp. And again, that cool track temp, partly cloudy sky, is going to help with the overall grip and handling of these trucks. So you should see a lot of really raciness. I guess I should put that a little bit different way. These guys are going to get really racy by the time this race is over, especially the last 10 laps or so when the money starts to be on the line. But they know that we've still got at least 1, potentially 2 green flag stops that you got to make it through in order to even have a chance at the end of this race. You got to make sure you execute on both of those first before you worry about anything else. John Mullahan now leads the bottom with a push from Nash Brambilla and the 40 of Logan York as well. Up top, it's Garrett Maines followed by Jason Maines. Richard Elliott tagging along the third and line there. A couple guys sitting towards the back of this pack right now, just playing it easy. Oh, man, Aubrey Thompson threading the needle right there in front of Jeremy Osborne. They did a little bit of a switcheroo right there. Jeremy jumped to the bottom. Aubrey jumped up top. And so Osborne, even though he's got his teammate leading right now, just playing it conservative. Feels like there's no need to try to get up there just yet. Watch for him, though, to try to advance a couple positions before we get to this first green flag pit stop. And, of course, just in front of him there was Samuel Carter in the 85 machine. And Aubrey Thompson, I think, wants to work his way back up to the front. Maybe Mark Vondell goes with him, but there's just not a ton of help right there. Mark Vondell, you see, he's got the G next to his name Bad news for Mark is he's similar to Josh. His teammate did not show up tonight. So while Mark did a great job getting to this point tonight, again, he's going to be like Josh in the sense of they're both going to be going either for the win, checkers or wreckers, if you will. Got to go for broke. So we'll see if either the 59 or the 01 can pull off the impossible tonight to getting the win and securing it just by themselves without a teammate. And, you know, if we were at any other track, maybe it's better position to not have a teammate. Anytime you come to one of these big plate tracks, Talladega, Daytona, you have got to have a teammate. That's what made this series what it is, in the sense of what made it such a cool series. The idea, of course, posted by McCullough Motorsports Money Racing. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people joined into it. But only at the end of the day, 13 guys have made it now to the championship race. Again, expecting a couple more if a couple of these guys' teammates would have been here. But Garrett Maines still showing a ton of dominance right now, showing you why he's considered one of the big dogs in this series, one of the Coke Series drivers. And he has not given up the lead to this point. I mean, he has by far, I think, led the most laps. I know we've only ran 10 so far, all things considered. But 6th of the way through this race, halfway just about to that first pit window. And everybody keeping things nice and calm. And I wonder if there's not a little bit of fuel saving potentially going on. If anybody's maybe just trying to take it easy right now, let's go to the back of the pack here and ride on board with David Sheets. Give us a little bit better of an idea. Yeah, and David right now rolling on the inside just behind Joshua McCullough, his usual teammate. You can hear whether he's trying to or not. He's able to save a ton of fuel by lifting due to the fact of the checkups on the bottom right there. But that's the advantage you get by being in the draft. You're not the truck braking the air, so you don't have to quite keep the throttle all the way to the floor. By doing so, you'd be surprised. You can save probably about at least 1, maybe 2 to 3 laps worth of fuel, depending on how long the run is. Garrett, after switching back to the top, is going to jump back to the bottom. Mullihan and Richard Elliott have been locked in as the lead pushers here for quite some time. Nash Brambilla switching roles as Garrett jumps up, but once he jumps back down, he gets a chance to cool as Mullihan goes to work on the back bumper of Garrett down the back straightaway. Richard Elliott still up top, pushing Jason Maines. Jeremy Osborne at the back of the pack, swapping lanes, not sure which one to go with. Now the outside gets a surge. Richard Elliott almost able to clear Jason Maines there for a moment going into turn 3. Couldn't quite do it. And now that run will back up a little bit more. Garrett's going to jump right back up to the top. And one thing you notice with these trucks is we're always talking about the momentum and how important it is to keep momentum. Whenever a run fades back, the further it seems to fade back, the greater the run is next time you get one. And then the greater the run is, the more it seems to fade back once it finally dies out. John Mullihan on the inside now. Nash Brambilla doing some of the lead pushing. They'll see if they can maybe surge ahead of Garrett Maines. Give John Mullihan a chance to jump up. He's clear. Does he take it? He does. Una Brambilla follows in there. Got a little bit of tunnel vision. Got up into Garrett Maines. Man, that was a close call. That was almost a fast car gone for a couple of guys. If that would have turned into what it looked like it was about to. Oh my goodness, what a moment right there from Nash Brambilla and Garrett Maines off of turn 2. And again, this was just Nash. He was so locked in on the bumper of Mullihan, who he was pushing so good here through 1 and 2, that when Mullihan jumps up, he follows him for a moment. He quickly realizes, but man, oh man, what a close call that was. Back live, 12 laps completed, still 2x2 at the front of the pack, all the way on back. Single file actually, just a little bit for the last 2 or 3 rows as Mark Vondell now shuffles to the back. Osborne picked up a position in that time that we were taking a look at the replay. So a lot of aggressive pushing going up front. The only 2 teammates, though, at the moment that are locked up. And when we say teammates tonight, we are talking about teammates that are considered a little dog and big dog duo. And right now, Richard Elliott and Michael Triscaro, those are the 2 to watch. You see the 2 H's on the scoring tower working together. John Mullihan, Aubrey Thompson, not too far separated. Problem is they're both in a different lane. I think the biggest spread between teammates right now is between Jeremy Osborne, Garrett Maines. You got Maines leading. Jeremy Osborne currently back in that 10th position as he picks up another spot, continuing to work that inside line. So still not expecting pit stops for about another, at least probably 9 to 10 laps. So with that knowledge, we're going to take our first break tonight, but we will go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us at Talladega. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Still live with the Little Dog Big Dog Series Championship up front. A little bit of a change in hand, at least for the first couple leaders. How about Nash Brambilla, John Mullihan cycling to the front row. Garrett Maines falls back to second on the outside. Jason Maines falls back to third. Brambilla, first time having a chance to poke the nose of his 23 Toyota Tundra out in front here on the night. The 40 just behind Logan York, trying to cool off a little bit as well as he's pushing for all he's worth. Ooh, a little bit of a blink right there. Another close call. Garrett now. Ooh, I thought for a minute he was getting ready to split Mullihan, but Mullihan chooses to jump back down low in front of Nash Brambilla. Still 2x2. Nothing really changed too much besides, again, the lead change that was temporary there over the break. But you saw Brambilla blink right there. That caused a huge stack up on the inside and killed the momentum. Outside falling back as well now. That allowed Garrett Maines to jump down. But the inside's trying to regroup, and now all of a sudden the outside has disintegrated. Jason Maines gets caught in the middle all by himself. Richard Elliott on the outside with a push from his teammate and Michael Trascaro. Garrett not jumping out. Maybe normally would help Jason, not tonight. Not one of the guys he's working with. All he cares about is Jeremy Osborne, who's currently sitting on the bottom of that bright green 41 for Blind Squirrel Racing. Now Jason's got some help here, though, from David Sheets and Samuel Carter. That's going to allow him to start to make the charge back up as Elliott and Trascaro. After trying the three-wide split there, it was a good attempt that just didn't quite work out now. And that cool track temp is certainly not helping. If you're going to run the outside of the top, you are going to really have to push in order to beat the inside, especially right now. I mean, we're only about 20 laps in, so the tires aren't all that worn. Certainly not helping the case, but another big run from the 02 and the 34. Let's see if they try another three-wide move off of turn number 2 as they work onto the Alabama gang back straightaway. No move yet. Thompson, does he take it? He doesn't. He's going to tuck back down in line instead. So Michael Trascaro going to back off a little bit for now. Play things conservative. And tell you what, I kind of noticed that actually caught my eye for anybody that watches PGR as well. Michael Trascaro, looks like he's running a little bit of a different paint scheme here on the night, something we're not used to seeing at least. Not sure if he got a new sponsor, but it's a pretty good looking scheme nonetheless. We'll take a ride on board actually with the 34 here. And even when they're 2x2, you see just how chaotic it is when you're running just about bumper to bumper at well over 180 miles an hour. And there is the dashboard speed, 192. The top speed for Michael Trascaro right there as they were working down the short chute towards turn number 1. Garrett Maines still leading the way up front, got the best view in the house right now, but also not necessarily the least stressful position. Look how steady of a wheel he's got to hold. If he moves that at all, when he gets a push, that could end in chaos. So when you're wrapping the bottom, the goal is to just stick to the yellow line and hold a pretty wheel so the guy behind you can push. If you're in the position of Jason Maines, you're trying to hold as pretty of a wheel as you can with the left side tires somewhere about halfway between below this white line and down by the yellow line, because you've got to try to make sure you're side drafting the inside line to pull him back in the turns and, of course, carry the momentum down the straights. 1/3 of the championship race now officially complete. 20 of 60 laps that is in the books. And up front it is still Garrett Maines and Jason Maines. We saw a temporary switch there just a couple laps ago. That did not last for long. The two Maines guys back up to the front where they've been just about the entire night. And further back now, Richard Elliott fading a little bit here as Trascaro jumps to the inside. And I think this is kind of the signal that we are starting to line things up for a pit stop as Trascaro is going to let his teammate in. He will jump in just behind Jeremy Osborne, Richard Elliott that is. And so now if you're these last 3 trucks on the outside, Jason Maines, David Sheets, and the 85 of Samuel Carter, you really got to start thinking about jumping down soon. You do not want to get caught on the outside when this giant group goes into pit. If you're by yourself or even with just one other truck, could bring your night to an end here early, especially if this thing were to go green the entire way. So I think we'll probably see, honestly, everybody in this entire pack pit together. That's 13 trucks. Still plenty of trucks to make a mistake, and we'll see if all 13 come out still together as a pack. Usually they don't. I'm thinking that we're probably going to drop 2 or 3, but this is the best of the best from the season, so couldn't be surprised to see it either. But each one of these stops is going to be the money stop, and I believe we're going to have 2 of them. This first one, I think these guys are going to have to bring it down to the pits either this lap or next lap. I don't think you can go really any further than that necessarily. Maybe to 24 if you're stretching it, I guess, on fuel. But definitely sometime within probably the next 2 to 3 laps, we'll say that much. Garrett Maines on the bottom in prime position right now to lead him in. And here we go. First round of pit stops tonight. And the 3 on the outside have to stay out. No choice there. Everybody else bringing it down to the pits. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty clean stop. Ooh, lockup out back. But everybody does indeed get down to speed. Nice first round of pit stops. Joshua McCullough there in the middle. He's going to have to, or on the bottom, he's going to have to let Logan York get down to his pit box as he now drives in. So he'll go ghosted. Logan will run into his box without any issues. And the hardest thing there when people ride on the left side there in the pits is you just can't see your signs sometimes. As you saw Brambilla slightly overshoot, Richard Elliott slightly undershoot. But it looks like 2 tires and filling it up with fuel is going to be the call here on this first sequence of stops. Garrett Maines came in as the leader. We'll see if he comes out the same. Sure enough, he does. Joshua McCullough comes out second in the battle out of the pits. John Mullihan third. Logan York in fourth. Ash Brambilla fifth. Michael Triscaro sixth off. Mark Vondell seventh. Aubrey Thompson eighth. Richard Elliott ninth. Jeremy Osborne 10th, and it looks like it's going to be really close for some of these guys towards the back, but they may all be able to stay together as those 3 trucks that weren't able to pit last time by being on the outside bring it down this time. That was Jason Maines, David Sheets, and Samuel Carter. So now the question is, where do they merge out, and do they come out with the leaders? Or do they fall behind? Do they come out ahead? Which strategy was the better call? Again, that first group got in really clean, so I'd be surprised if this group of 3 is able to really beat them, but I think they should be able to stick with them as long as they get a decent stop. In fact, you see on the track map there what's kind of turned into 3 packs, 3 mini packs, but I think it's going to all merge back down into one. Exiting the pits, there goes Jason Maines. Here comes the leaders roaring through the trial. We'll get ready to cross the stripes this time. It's complete lap 24. And they're definitely going to get a run to get past here, but I think if you're Jason Maines, he's going to be good to at least keep the draft of those 3. Now, everybody else, it's where you start to wonder and things start to get a little bit interesting. Garrett Maines, Joshua McCullough, and John Mullihan all in that lead pack. There goes Jason Maines. In fact, Jason's going to act as a perfect bridge here for this second group, being led by Logan York. Pushing is Nash Brambilla, the 59, and Mark Vondell third in line. Michael Triscaro there as well. And the group just behind them, I think, is going to be able to stick in this draft as well. So overall, in fact, Jason's going to have to fall to the back of this draft. As you see, they're going to choose to overtake him here. I think we're going to see this pack turn back into 1 pack before we get to the next round. And what's going to be, of course, the last round of green flag pit stops. And we're expecting that final green flag pit stop probably somewhere right around lap 48. Maybe lap 46 to 48, somewhere in that window is when. But the window will open sooner than that, so you never know what these guys decide to do. In fact, I think the window itself would probably open right around lap 36. Or excuse me, a little bit 38 to 39. But I don't know if I see anybody going that early. I mean, you got to pit with the lead group here. It's going to depend on how this pack starts racing. If they get really racy, maybe you decide to bail off early with at least your teammate, maybe a lap or so before, just to get out of the mess. But if you're one of the couple solo guys we have tonight in terms of Mark Vondell and Joshua McCullough who don't have a teammate, they're going to try to pit with the biggest group that they can. And oh, close moment right there is Mullihan. Not sure if he wanted to jump out of line or if he got pushed out of line. But as he jumps up, looks like Garrett Maines is going to jump up as well to see if he can get a push here from the 6 on the outside. Those two have been working pretty good together tonight. And here comes the 28 of Aubrey Thompson. The one of Jason Maines going to jump out as well. There goes Samuel Carter and David Sheets. And just like that, back to 2x2 racing. And I'm telling you what, I think that Mullihan and Maines may have jumped out right there to try to slow, if not block, the run that they were predicting that was going to come from this outside line. Of course, which all stemmed from that group that caught up. So after the first round of pit stops is all said and done, we really only dropped or I guess I should say we only thinned the herd by 1 man. I was going to say we only dropped off 1 truck from the pack. And unfortunately, it was Jeremy Osborne. Good news for Jeremy, though, is his teammate Garrett running really good right now up in first. But, you know, with Jeremy back in 13, you take the average of that. I mean, I'm assuming this is how these guys do it. You do 1 plus 13, 14, average finish of 7. Just don't think that's quite going to cut it, especially with some of the guys that are running closer to the front with a teammate near. And in fact, how about John Mullihan and Aubrey Thompson first and third? That would be an average finish of 2nd, and that one right now would get this thing locked up for them if they could stay like that the rest of the way. And boy, that is exactly the position you want to be in. We saw Triscaro and Richard Elliott be able to do this same thing earlier. But man, Mullihan and Thompson, that is a dangerous duo. Garrett is going to have to try to fend them off by controlling the lanes the best he can. He's still got a push from Joshua McCullough, but after that, no help from the 3rd truck in line just yet. New York trying to pull up to the back bumper again, but still just really no push. Not sure if he's saving fuel or maybe trying to let a teammate down. But right now, yeah, there you go. It's going to let David Sheets down, I was going to say. He's not really gaining anything there unless he was trying to let somebody down, but David not his teammate, so I don't think that was the case. I think maybe he was trying to get lined up with Nash Brambilla, who is his teammate, and those two wanted to make a move to the top. There they go. Mark Vondell. Does he follow? Looks like the 59 He's going to try to keep the draft by staying up top now. Getting ready to approach the halfway point through this race once we cross the stripe to take lap 30. It is still Garrett Maines, though, out in front. But John Mullihan with another big push. Now he's going to drop to the bottom. That puts Aubrey Thompson up to second. That would improve the average finish even more. Boy, if these two could find a way to finish 1-2, what that would do for their chance. Well, not even chances. I mean, that would obviously lock it up. And so there you see the 2 A's on the board. 1-2 at the moment. Let's go talk about payouts and what it's looking like tonight. Because honestly, I'm still a little bit curious about how this whole thing works myself. The one thing we know is that the payouts are really good payouts. What they are exact, I think they ranged a little bit from this due to the fact that a couple of the guys weren't here that were supposed to be. And this is, again, in terms of this is for the team. So this isn't per driver. This is per team. So the first place team, I believe, is going to get $687. The second place team, $487. Third place team, $387. And the fourth place team, $307. And again, those are probably going to go down just ever so slightly due to a little bit of a lack of the field. But, I mean, there you saw what the teams were supposed to look like. Brambilla, York, we see them here tonight. David Sheets, Samuel Carter, Garrett Maines, Jeremy Osborne, Michael Triscaro, Richard Elliott. Those 4 teams, they are all complete. Some of the teams not complete tonight. Jason Maines, John Darnell not here. Mark Vondell, Sean Corbett not here. John Mullihan, Aubrey Thompson, both of those two here. And then Joshua McCullough and Tucker McClendon not here as well. So it was supposed to be a total of a 16-truck finale. Again, with a couple of guys that were supposed to be here that could not make it tonight. Left a couple guys stranded. So as we go back live, looks like up front, John Mullihan still leads the inside. Aubrey Thompson, though, has fallen back a couple spots as Garrett Maines has reclaimed the lead on the outside. You see, Aubrey is the lead pusher for the moment. The 0-1 of Joshua McCullough on the inside. The 85 of Samuel Carter hanging around as well. Now, John Mullihan with a big move up to the top. As he bails off the front bumper of his teammate Joshua McCullough in normal races. Of course, not here tonight, but nonetheless, no 3-wide action just yet. Still 2x2, as it is now officially, or we have now officially reached the halfway point in this race. 31 of 60 laps complete. Mullihan back down to the bottom. That'll give Garrett a chance to cool off again. Aubrey Thompson's going to link back up for the push as they work through 1 and 2. And no chance of a fuel window opening just yet. Still probably about 8 laps away from that point. And then they're weighing the distance. And in fact, we could pull it up on the track map. You saw Jeremy Osborne in the 41. Talked about Jeremy. Again, probably going to be a danger here of going a lap down if they don't get a caution here shortly. Ooh, a lot of push on the bottom there. Oh, my goodness. Mullihan keeps making that move up, but he keeps jumping up just a little bit too high. Garrett's cutting him a lot of slack right now, but if you make that move late in the race, you got to make sure you hold the truck down when you go up. If you wash too high, that guy is going to split you. That's behind you. In this case, Garrett, I don't know if he cut Mullihan a lot of slack. At the end of this race, he's going to be trying to go for the win himself. And it may have been, I'm not sure if there was individual payouts tonight or if it was only the team payouts. But 32 laps now complete, and take a quick moment. I want to say thank you all so much for tuning in. 9 viewers at the moment, but not too bad for 1 a.m. on the East Coast. And in fact, Spring Forge, I believe it's actually 2 a.m. And we still got just under 30 laps of action here at the High Banks Talladega Superspeedway. And still a green flag stop, but before that, here we go. How about a little 3-wide action up top? Michael Triscaro and his teammate tonight, Richard Elliott. Logan York tagging along. Looks like Nash Miller's going to try to jump up as well. He's got a teammate in Logan York, of course, up top. First time we're seeing 3x3 here tonight. And maybe these guys are thinking we're not going to make it to that final pit window. Oh, John Mullihan got an offset push right there from Joshua McCullough. He had to catch it. Josh has to bail off his bumper. And that lost all the momentum for the inside line. Aubrey Thompson jumps down to bail out and go to the aid of his teammate there, John Mullihan. And they quickly are able to link back up as you saw Michael Triscaro jump to the middle, try to get some control of one of the lanes here after he got the push from his teammate Richard Elliott. Before they get to turn 3, he's able to get clear of the bottom, so he jumps down now just in front of Aubrey Thompson. Coming up on a lapper here of Jeremy Osborne. They're 3 wide. This is going to split them 4 wide here for just a moment. Looks like everybody was able to get through clean. That's still Logan York, Richard Elliott trapped on the outside. We'll see if they jump back down or if they stay committed to this 3rd lane. Looks like for now they are staying committed. And again, everybody wants to get themselves in a good position for the final pit stop. Best way to do that is to get yourself to the front and lead the pack in. Saw Garrett Maines do it on the first pit stop and was able to come out as the leader as a result. But up front now, Michael Trasquero, first lap's getting led tonight for the 34 truck. But now Aubrey Thompson is going to jump to the outside. He'll get a push from Garrett Maines. John Mullihan on the bottom. He gets linked up as well. It's a drag race down the backstretch, but it looks like the outside, maybe, no, not quite enough momentum to get clear of Michael Trasquero as they work into turn number 3. And so the bottom is 3 trucks at the moment, waiting for the 85 Samuel Carter to get there versus 5 up top. But you really only need those first 3 trucks to make progress. The bottom holding strong with that right now. And they've got 3 really good pushers, of course, in John Mullihan and Joshua McCullough. And then, of course, I said 3 good pushers. I meant 3 good trucks. Michael Trasquero leading the way there. 28 of Aubrey Thompson up top. If he gets clear, watch to see if he jumps down here in front of the 34 as it now starts to become the battle of who has more temps. You see Mullihan back off a little bit there as they work their way through 1 and 2, trying to cool whatever he can or get any temps he can as he lets that truck cool off a little bit by ducking out to the right ever so slightly. His 35 laps now complete, so the window going to be opening up probably about 4 to 5 laps from now. But again, you can run this thing all the way to about lap 48, I believe. I think you're going to see most of these guys probably run it closer to the end than towards when the window first opens. In that 3-wide action we had just a couple laps ago, quickly was able to dwindle back down to 2x2. As you saw Nashville Villa jump out of line there. See if he's trying to catch up to the back bumper of his teammate Logan York, or if he's just tucking in behind Mark Von Dell. Looks like, yeah, he's staying committed to the outside. And for any Jeremy Osborne fans, you see, unfortunately, he did lose a lap on the scoring pylon. However, he was able to tag along and stick with this pack. So if we get a caution, he is in that lucky dog position right now as long as he's not in the wreck. Fortunately, though, I don't think we're going to see a caution, or at least even be mentioning anything about a caution until we probably get within about the last, I'm not even sure if I'd say 10 to 15, just once we make this final pit stop. Any racing we have after that is going to be where I think you're going to see that aggression level really ramp up. Start to see the chance for a caution increase exponentially. But right now up front, it is still the Bar Racing driver. But tonight, the teammates to John Mullihan, Aubrey Thompson on the outside, Garrett Maines. And now trying to get that third lane going again, Richard Elliott and Logan York. Nashville Villa with a little bit of run. This time he will choose that third lane. And that could make it a 3 versus 2 versus 3 battle, given the advantage to the bottom and the top. But Garrett and Jason, they're able to get tandem together here. They might be able to try to fight back ever so slightly. Brimbilla's trying to get there on the outside, but I think that Logan York's just kind of pushing him away right now, pushing Elliott away from that 23 machine. And so not able to get there in time. That allowed Aubrey Thompson to jump up from the bottom to the middle. It's going to hurt this outside lane's chance of getting back clear of Garrett Maines now that the 28's there. See if he can get enough of a push here down the front stretch to get back clear of the bottom and jump back down in front of Michael Trasquero. So the 3x3 action, while we've had a couple looks at it tonight, it hasn't been very organized. The only real run that we've seen with the 3 wide that's worked was the push where Richard Elliott was able to get his teammate tonight and Michael Trasquero to the front. But since then, the third lane, I mean, it's tried to organize, but it just really hasn't been able to get any momentum going or been able to get anywhere. And so now as they fall back, we'll see if they tuck back down in line. No, it looks like the 85 of Samuel Carter. He chooses to move up to the middle. Mark Vondell, Jeremy Osborne still hanging back, as is David Sheets for the moment. The 28, who still leads the bottom, Aubrey Thompson, and going to be in a good spot for when he decides to make the pit stop as we cross the stripe this time. Going to be in that pit window, the fuel window, if you will, to make that final stop. The question is, does anybody come in early, try to beat everybody else by just running faster lap times, or does this whole pack try to run this thing out and, of course, make that final stop towards the end of pit window? Still 3x3 working through turn 1. On the bottom now, big surge of momentum for Michael Trasquero and Aubrey Thompson. They're both going to get clear of the middle here. Do either one of them try to jump up? And Mullihan would like to get a big push here. Maybe Thompson jumps up in front. No, instead, they're going to see if they can get Mullihan clear to try to jump down to the bottom in front of his teammate. Elliott still on the bottom, but not a ton of side drafting going on right now. These guys still trying to side draft each other back a little bit, but I think you're going to see these lanes get tighter and tighter as we continue to wind down laps the rest of this race. 22 laps to go, going to be 21 when we cross the stripe this time. Brody Benty says, great broadcast from the Noma League, dude. Glad I got my TV time when I got into the wall. Well, certainly glad you enjoyed it, Brody, and appreciate you checking in on this one. By the way, quick disclaimer. Again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope everybody's having a good, well, I guess I should say now Sunday morning. I do have a absolutely killer migraine right now, so if I sound, hopefully I sound okay, but trying the best here to just make it through this before I go to bed. But still a lot of great racing nonetheless. I mean, love the series, hoping to see it come back again next season. And a lot of guys that just missed out on the sign-up window that realized the potential and how fun the series was going to be 1 week in. We'll see if we get a lot even bigger of a turnout than what we already had this season. Moving into next season, back to 2x2. Garrett on the bottom, Jason up top. John Mullihan, Aubrey Thompson still linked up. Second and third on the inside. Richard Elliott up top, still pushing Jason Maines with all he's got right now. Logan York in the 40 up there with Nashper and Billa. It is really interesting to note that as this race has gone on, it seems like all the teammates have gotten a lot better at being able to find each other almost on command. And you wonder if that's something that they've just developed through practice over the season. Another one of the requirements for the league is that you have to be in a voice channel with your teammate. So now that we've hit 20 laps to go, that final green flag pit stop really starts to become a topic of conversation here. When do you make that stop? You can make it all the way to about 12 laps to go before you have to pit for fuel. But if you decide to come in any sooner, it'll be interesting to see how the strategy plays out. BMH Hinton Sim Racing says, what are the payouts for this race? I'll tell you one thing, they're certainly very high, but exact numbers were a little bit different, so we're going to go back and take a look at exactly what they were. So this was based off of 16 trucks in total tonight. Now, a couple of these guys' teammates could not make it, including Jason Maines' teammates, Mark Von Dell's teammate, Joshua McCullough's teammate. So these payouts did go down a little bit as Jason gets split in the middle. Oh my goodness. Thought for a moment that was going to be a really close call, but nothing he could really do there. But looking more at those payouts. $687 to first was the predicted amount. Again, going to go down just a little bit here tonight. Second, the initial projected amount was $487. Third, $387. And it looks like fourth, $307. So I would have to guess that first place probably still going home with over $600. Second place probably still going home with right around $400. Third, right around $300. And fourth, maybe right just under $300. So still great payouts, all things considered. Now with 18 laps to go, still 2x2 up front. 3 wide, didn't last for long, but Jason Maines had to go to the back of the line. So he was able to find a spot and jumped into it on the outside. Michael Triscaro in the 34 starting to get buried back a little bit now. His teammate Richard Elliott, though, on the opposite end, he is leading the outside. They're going to start trying to push each other clear to jump down. This is where you start to see certain guys try to make holes in the line for others. And that's where sometimes you can run into trouble, too, if you try to drag brake a little too long doing so. Maybe get yourself into a mistake and could potentially see the big one here tonight, which, even though we got 13 trucks, still certainly a possibility. 17 laps now to go. Elliott's still not been able to get clear, even with the push from Logan York. Mullihan doing a great job at keeping Garrett even on the inside. 2x2 for the first 4 rows. Then it's single files out. Jeremy Osborne still a lap down, but still hanging on to this pack. And so they're going to be coming to 16 laps to go this next time. And again, it looks like they're going to just run this thing out. So with that knowledge in mind, we are going to take another quick break. Looking like it's probably going to be our last one of the night. Ooh, almost some contact there between Logan York. Garrett Maines leads. We will be right back at Talladega. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Well, we had a prediction that the final pit stop was going to come right around 12 laps to go. Looks like the general field decided to go a little bit sooner. 15 to go was the lap that we saw the first group that pitted one lap earlier than the second group on the first cycle going, and then of course that second group going in a lap later with 14 to go. So up front right now as they stand, Garrett Maines leads the way, John Mullihan in second, and then a little bit of battling going on back here is part of the group that went with that first group but faded off of the two-truck tandem. As Mullihan throws a block up high, it's not going to work. Now Garrett gets himself caught in the middle, nowhere to go. The one's going to fall to the back. Aubrey Thompson chooses to split high as well, getting no help right now. Logan York finally is able to help him out a little bit. Triscaro deciding which lane he wants to go with. And you can tell the aggression level is getting ready to start getting ramped up now. Overall, everybody just about able to stick with the lead draft again off that pit stop, with the exception of Nash Brambilla. He is currently 1.89 seconds, 1.9 seconds out of it. He is just 3/10 away from catching the draft, unfortunately, with no help. He's going to need a caution at this point if he wants any shot going for the win in this race tonight. So it'll be 12 laps to go next time, and we still got a lot of contenders in this race. Osborne and Brambilla going to be the only two that are out of it for the moment. But everybody wants to get the win in the final race of the season, the championship race, with a chance to see if you can get your team over $600 here on a Sunday morning. The 85 now leading the way. Samuel Carter on the inside. On the outside, it's Joshua McCullough with a push. Ms. McCullough Motorsports teammate John Mullihan. David Sheets there as well, followed by another one of the one trucks, Garrett Maines. Ooh, wonder if Mullihan got hot there. Started to get a little bit offset, but he bailed. And so now that'll give... Ooh, Sam Carter's trying to jump up. Oh, big run. Big block as well. I thought they were going to split the 85 right there. I think Joshua McCullough might have cut him a little bit of a break. Samuel Carter, though, knowing that if he wants a chance at this thing, he needs to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think he made that entire outside line a little bit uncomfortable right there with that move, but he makes it work nonetheless. So now he's got a truck with fresh temps pushing. Richard Elliott still on the inside. He's getting pushed by Jason Maines. Aubrey Thompson just behind him. So as they cross the stripe this time, now 11 laps to go. Everybody getting plenty good to make it at least the scheduled distance. In fact, I think a lot of people are probably good to make it one, maybe two overtimes as they stand. Because from what we believe, you can make it probably about 22 laps on fuel. So honestly, even that, 3 overtimes, which is the limit that we've got here tonight, everybody should be good to go the distance the rest of the way, no matter how this thing turns out. Question is, how racy do you get depending on where you're at, and when do you start getting that racy? I think if you're anybody in the top 4, you're just focused on pushing right now. Garrett, though, he's not going to stay third on the outside the rest of this race. He's going to jump up. It's just a matter of time now. Michael Triscaro, see him playing with the air there just a little bit on the outside, trying to create a couple gaps, see if he can set something up so if he wants to get a run, he'll know how to do it. Went through the tri-oval this time. That outside has really started to fade away a little bit. Richard Elliott has a chance to jump up. There he goes. The 0-2 is going to make the move as he jumps to the outside of Samuel Carter. Ooh, some contact there between Mullihan and Thompson as they door banged going into turn number 1. Jason Maines trying to get to the back now of Samuel Carter. He's going to get there off of turn number 2, but it might be just too little too late. The outside gets stacked up. 2 trucks now, 3 trucks, 4 trucks. And that's going to get Richard Elliott clear along with Joshua McCullough, who jumps down. Elliott looks for the block. Big stack up now as Joshua McCullough has to get on the brakes. The 85 of Samuel Carter does the same. Richard Elliott not afraid to flex a little muscle here with 10 laps to go as they come to 9 to go when they cross the stripe this time. And man, Joshua McCullough, I think, is letting the 0-2 know, hey, man, I didn't appreciate that block too much. If you want to block, then I'm just going to push you as hard as I physically can. That's giving Garrett Maines and John Mullihan a chance to make a surge on the outside as those two try to get their issues sorted out. 34, Michael Triscaro still in the back bumper of Logan York, still leaving that little bit of a gap between him and Garrett Maines. Richard Elliott back up to the top. The 6 of John Mullihan now going to be pushing the 0-2 for all he can here to try to get him back clear before the end of the backstretch. But the 85 of Samuel Carter, he has now gotten locked up on the back of Joshua McCullough's bumper. By the way, quick reminder as Richard Elliott makes another move back to the bottom. I'm telling you, you can keep making these moves, and they're not bad moves, but it just seems like it always ends up playing out just like a ticking time bomb. The moves kept being made. They get more aggressive, and eventually it all goes kaboom. It's just a matter of when. But quick reminder, the next play is Ghost Racing Network heads Monday night to the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series. Make sure you check that one out as those guys head to Phoenix. Only other race, the spring race, that they get practice at the track for the championship. Going to be a good one for sure. And then tonight, of course, watching McCullough Motorsports Money Racing here from Talladega Superspeedway, the Little Dog Big Dog Series Championship. And we appreciate everybody that's been tuning in tonight. Boy, I'll tell you what, Elliott tried to make another block right there. I don't think Joshua McCullough was going to let that happen. He almost drifted up half a lane to try to let him block and then drifted up another lane so that he could hang him out. And it was a good move at that because he's going to get back clear. Jumps down to the bottom. Now, Joshua McCullough, I'm not sure. I would assume he should be considered the big dog because, remember, he got a win in the championship for the Little Guy Series in Dega Pro, so he's supposedly graduated to a big dog, and showing that here tonight, showing the poise is even though he's running by himself, still able to run up front. The time where it matters most. 7 laps now to go at Talladega. Still no third lane just yet. Everybody staying pretty tame for now as there goes the 01 jumping back up. John Mullihan gives him a tap. Garrett has to check him a little bit. Now the 6 truck is going to wash up ever so slightly. Now we're going to see the third lane. Here we go. Looks like jumping up to the top. I believe that's Michael Triscaro with a push from Logan York. And they're not going to be the only 2 to come up. Here comes the cavalry up top. Make it 2, 3, almost 4 trucks from what Mark Von Dell thought about it. Quickly thought better of it, and just as quickly as the cavalry looked like it was going to arrive, it fades away. 2 up top, 5 in the middle, and 4 on the bottom right now. So I think this 3 wide action is probably going to stay pretty similar to this. I don't know if this outside, though, is going to really have enough momentum to get rolling. It's just a question of how long can these guys keep this up at this point. 82 degrees, still the track temp. Oh my goodness, another big move right there from Joshua McCullough. Jumping to the top, you have to do that as a driver. Again, to maintain the temps in both lines and basically keep yourself to the front, but it always makes you nervous because those moves start to get closer and closer. And as this race continues to get closer and closer itself to the end, guys aren't going to lift anymore. And if you're not clear, even if it's by the slightest amount, it could end your day. The news is that nobody in this lead pack has had to use a fast spur yet. Seen Ashburn Billa 34 seconds back with 6 laps to go. I'm not sure if he'll end up playing a factor and being a lapper before this thing's all said and done, but do you see Jeremy Osborne? Gotta assume this was something to the pit stop. He's going to be in danger here of losing another lap. That would put him 2 down and most guaranteeably out of contention unless we were to get a caution here. Probably just about any time now. I know it's still 4 laps away, but if we make it to the white flag, this race will be official. So now you really got to start piecing together where teammates are running. Joshua McCullough, no teammate, by himself for the current time being. He's got a really good run going. It's going to be interesting to see if this would mean he gets the championship if he wins this race. Now just behind him is John Mullihan, by the way, on the outside. He's in a pretty good position with his teammate right now, Aubrey Thompson, who's going to pick up another spot here as he's going to roll on the bottom. Another good duo for the moment. Michael Triscaro, Richard Elliott. Richard Elliott leading. Michael Triscaro going to look to pick up a couple more spots before this thing's all said and done. David Sheets in the back there, looking to see if he can pick up anything else in these next 4 laps. There's Jeremy Osborne. They're going to have to split him here 3 wide for a moment. Shouldn't be any major issues as Logan York, who looked like he's stacked up back there. I wonder if he's maybe thinking about trying to start setting up a run, but Sheets is going to go low. I don't think York maybe appreciated that too much as it looks like he is trying to pin it on the door there for a minute to David Sheets, trying to side draft him back. Still 2x2 up front. Joshua McCullough, he's been controlling the lane so well up to this point when he got to the lead, but at a certain point, you wonder if he jumps up in front of Mullihan. Oh my goodness, another big push there from Richard Elliott. Gets him back to the top, but one of these times, you wonder if Mullihan splits high, and if he does Garrett follow him? Where does Jason go? I think how this thing is looking right now, they are going to all fan out by the time that we hit the checkered flag. We might see a photo finish tonight. Certainly can't put it out of the question. 3 laps to go. That means the last 2 laps here for a chance at a caution. Now Michael Triscaro trying to get something going on the outside here. He's got some help from Logan York. Looks like David Sheets thinks it's time to go as well. That'll make it a 3-truck tandem up top. Now the 28 of Aubrey Thompson jumps up. Jason Maines is going to follow. Does Garrett go? Jason, I don't know if he was quite clear, but that really hurt Aubrey. Now Aubrey's going to go around. The 28 spins. Aubrey Thompson, did he save it? No, the left side. Heavy damage to the inside wall. A mistake in the pack. And the 28 gets the bad end. And now That changes things up front. As look at the disorganization. Mullahan's trying to throw a block. He's late on it. He's not there. Now he's split in the middle. Can he get any help? Samuel Carter's not going to go with them. Mullahan right now is in the sucker hole. Nowhere to go. He's going to fall all the way to the back unless these two stay in the middle. They're not for long. This thing is bunching up. There is no way these guys are going to make it to the white flag. Not with the way they're racing right now. Down the back straightaway. There it is. Mullahan gets into Carter. Carter goes around to the pack. There it is. The wreck. Garrett Maines, does he save it? He goes back down. No caution yet. We stay green. There's the caution. You knew it was just a matter of time. And boy, did that save Aubrey Thompson. I think that's going to save Nash Miller too, as he was a lap down. I believe he'll get the lucky dog from this. And it is going to send us into our first overtime attempt. So Garrett's able to get back rolling. John Mullahan, not sure how much damage he sustained. But I mean, that was just one of those wrecks. You saw it coming for so long. Yeah, you see the right front. Pretty beat up for the 6. We'll see. I'm not sure if that's fast spare worthy, but definitely might be worth going, trying to get some of the optional damage hammered out. All right, so let's back this up. We kind of had two different incidents here that could have led to the caution. The first one did not, because it only ended up being one truck, but I still want to go back and take a look at it. It was Aubrey Thompson, and this whole thing just really starts to get chaotic. And I think Jason, when he jumps up, I'm wondering if he was maybe not quite clear. Let's see if that's what caused the stack up. So the outside, they're going to get rolling here. I mean, when Thompson jumps up, you see Michael Trasquero, he is there. He is on his bumper. And Jason is clear on the initial jump up. I mean, yeah, you see Jason's there. He's clear. But then it looks like Aubrey's going to try to jump a lane higher. And I'm not sure if it's a little bit of a stack up or if Aubrey tried to bail out of the throttle. What happened? But it gets them all out of shape. And then looks like David Sheets maybe gets Logan York a little bit out of shape. But they both save it. It looks like, though, it's Thompson who creeps down a little bit more, maybe thinking he was clear. Trasquero trying to jump to the middle. Fortunately, was not clear. 34 was there. And he pulls across his nose, turns him around, gets a Mark Von Delman, goes for a slide all the way down the track here. And again, I believe maybe he didn't tag the inside wall. It certainly looked like he did. And no, he didn't. Man, what a save by Aubrey Thompson, wheeling that thing. And so the left side damage he got was just from contact with other trucks. Holy cow, watch this save from Aubrey Thompson. I mean, he did a 360, I think, in both directions here. Locks it up. Spins the wheel, turns it away from the wall. Oh my god, that is one of the greatest saves I think I have ever seen by a truck that looked like it was going to slam the inside wall. And then just about a lap later, Thompson is saying to himself, probably, that's a good thing I saved this truck and I'm out of the pack, because he could have very well been involved in this if he was in the middle of the pack. So you saw Mullahan, he got split, and now he's stuck in the middle of the 3 wide here. And it's going to be as they close in on Garrett, and you see just how great the closing speed is. Ooh, Mullahan gets a shot from out back just as he's getting ready to give a push to Garrett. It looks like, or actually it's not a push out back. It's actually a little bit of net code from David Sheets. You see Sheets coming down. Just barely, a little bit of net code, like I said, I think involved there. Clips the right rear of Mullahan. And then bounces off of Garrett and then gets back up into Samuel Carter. That turns Carter down the racetrack. Gets him into Garrett Maines, and then they get into Mark Von Dell as well. Garrett slides back up, gets clipped by Sheets, slides back down. There you see Nash Miller avoiding it all. Garrett ultimately comes to a sliding halt. Not much damage, does a little burnout, gets it back going. So one truck's probably going to take some fresh tires. Hammer out any slight damage that he's got using just optional. I don't think there's no way that would be a fast pair there. And so it was only a matter of time, but all things considered, that wreck definitely not nearly as bad as what it looked like we were getting ready to have with all the chaos that was starting to unfold there at the end. And I'm telling you, this overtime is getting ready to be crazy. All right, so as we go back live up towards the front of the field, Jason Maines being scored as your leader, looking to get the 1-to-go signal right here this time. Joshua McCullough in second, Richard Elliott in third, Mark Von Dell fourth, Samuel Carter in fifth, Logan York back in sixth, John Mullahan in seventh, Garrett Maines in eighth, Aubrey Thompson ninth, and Michael Trasquero running out your top 10. So we'll watch again to see if the lights on the pace car do indeed go off this time, but you got Jason leading, doesn't have a teammate. But right now, Joshua McCullough doesn't either, and he's in second. So you kind of ask yourself, do these two think about working together? Neither does Mark Vondel. He's back and forth. All of a sudden, the three guys that don't have their teammates here tonight, showing that this thing's not over just yet and trying to make something happen. But I want to see if we can pull a quick word. Ooh, Logan York and John Mullahan. Not sure if there was some contact. Well, what was going on right there? York will pull back up to the pack. No further incident. I want to see if we could get a quick word with one of these guys up here towards the front. So let's see if Garrett Maines has a plan on how he's going to get back to the front. And I take that back. These guys are coming to half one to go. There's a lot of chaos going on. I'm looking in the chats. I think we're going to put Garrett back down to his team here and not put him in an awkward spot for now. Now, Jeremy Osborne unfortunately did not get his lap back. However, just hear me out here. There's 3 green-white checkers. If we get 2 of those right here, Jeremy's not involved in either. He could get back on that lead lap, and that would be huge for Garrett. Both of those guys could get back to the front, have a chance of this thing. Because, again, I don't think it's going to... Oh, no. What is going on here? Logan York again almost just... Did he get hit? What is going on here? They'll get it together again, but that was the second time we saw something similar over here in turn 1. And then, I'm not sure what this was. Oh. It looks to me there like Logan York brake checks John Mullahan. And I don't think Mullahan's going to appreciate that too much. See how this restart goes here. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but maybe gave a little damage to both of those trucks. Here we go. First green-white checkered. If we can make it to the white flag, this race will be official. However, if we don't, we will rack them up and try it again. You see the 6 all over the bumper of the 40. Here we go. Coming to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Good even start. Looks like the advantage is going to go to the bottom, though, ever so slightly. Further back, Nash Brambilla already jumping out of line. He knows it's go time. He's got to make some ground quick, but up front, Jason Maines on the bottom. Does he try to control the lanes, or does he stick to the bottom the rest of the way through this race? A lot of bumping and banging on the bottom. They are much more organized now, but now the top's going to start to make a comeback. Richard Elliott jumps out of line, leaves Jason out. Now we're going to see 3 wide further out back. Looks like Garrett Maines, Aubrey Thompson trying to make something work. And the third lane's going to draw even. That's actually Samuel Carter up there as well. Aubrey's the one on the bottom in the 28 Golden Blue Machine. The 34 Michael Trascaro is going to go with Garrett as they ditch the 85. Mark Vondel still in the mix, watching his mirror, looking to see when Garrett's going to jump to the third lane. Can they make it to the white flag? It's about 400 yards to go to get to that point. Again, if we make it, then this race will be official. Through the trial they come. Here we go. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. The 02 gets spun right after the line. Richard Elliott goes around. No caution, though, because it's the white flag. Everybody trying to save it. Are they all merged back on track? And they all do save it. Jason Maines still out in front by too much, though. Logan York with a big run. He is going to give a push to the back of the 1. No move yet. And now the outside starts to line up again. Joshua McCullough, and it looks like Garrett Maines pushing for all their work. Now Jason's going to jump to the top. Joshua McCullough splits. Garrett goes with Jason back to the middle. Jeremy Osborne's going to stick with his teammate on the bottom. Logan York now takes the lead. Mark Vondel going to push for all he's worth. Osborne hard into the outside wall. They're out of it. He takes 1 with him. 2 by 2 coming out of turn 4 for the final time. Jason on the top. Now they start to bump and bang a little bit, trying to keep it clean. Vondel's going to push York all the way to the checkered flag. Final time through the tribal. Everybody holds it together at the line. It's a photo finish. Jason Maines. No, it's Logan York who steals it at the line. They came across the line sideways, and the margin of victory is less than 1/100th of a second. That is showing Logan York wins it. And looking again just at whatever results we have right now, trying to get a general idea here of who may have got the championship, who could have got the job done. Best average finish again. I'm seeing Samuel Carter finishing in 5th, David Sheet finishing in 7th. I believe that's an average finish of 6th place. That might be it here. Logan York finished 1st. His teammate Nash Brambilla finished back in 8th. No, that would be a better finish right there. It may have just captured the championship for Logan York. We're going to have to get confirmation on that, but man, what a last lap it was and what a finish it was right here. Heartbreak for Richard Elliott after he got turned. In fact, that's going to be the thing we go look at first. See exactly what got him out of shape here, if he got some help. And so just as they're coming across, oh no, oh my good, wow. What a sequence of events. Logan York went from out of this race to winning this race. Watch this. So first off, we got to go back and take a view here. Cockpit view of John Mullihan. These two weren't too happy with each other, and it looked a little bit like here Mullihan, yikes. I'm hoping it didn't look the best from the cockpit view, but certainly think Mullihan, or we're gonna, I guess, give him the benefit of the doubt here and hope he was just cooling, but yeah, it's certainly not the best look there, especially after the contact these two had under caution. But that turns Logan York up the track into Richard Elliott, which spins Richard Elliott out. But by Logan spinning, or going up rather, into Richard Elliott, it kept him from wrecking and actually saved this truck. Next thing you know, him and Mark end up lining up perfectly in sync. They get a run. They push. Jason chooses to go high. Logan says, okay, I'll stick low. And Mark Fondell, with the push of the night, is able to fend off two of the best in the business, or one of the best in the business, rather, in terms of the pusher. And that was Garrett Maines, who was giving Jason Maines all he had left right there. Just not quite enough. And then right there, Mark, almost a similar thing to John Mullihan. Maybe they were just ducking out for air. Maybe looking to see if there was any sort of, maybe there was a lane right there at the end. Not sure, but I mean, we're going to do this frame by frame. Look how close. Oh my gosh, that was one of the closest finishes I think we have seen all season. And Logan York somehow wins this thing sideways. I mean, I can't tell. It looks to me like Jason's in front. It really does. It looks like Jason's out in front right there, but it's so close. I cannot tell. See if we can get the camera to clear itself out here just a little bit to help us out. Oh my goodness. I mean, that has got to be less than 1,000th of a second. And we're going to have to get official word on this. But again, right now, unofficially, Logan York's being shown as your winner, at least from the results that we have. Of course, we're going to have to get more confirmation on that because it was just too close to call at the line. But man, what a race it was. It was clean. We had the one caution. What a great ending. We're going to go get your top three in here for interviews, along with official word on who is your winner and, of course, who is your champion for the Big Dog Little Dog Series Championship. Stick with us. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Mark Vondell. Mark, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Austin.
Well, not only do you bring home a podium finish tonight, you push Logan York to the win, and you also get third place for your team finish by yourself. How did you pull all of that off and those chaotic last 2 laps that we had?
Well, I'll tell you, I really don't know. Because I got hit twice, once before that last wreck and then once during that last wreck. And I didn't go into pits because I had track position. I figured maybe if I can suck my nose up to their butt there, I could, stand up. And luckily it did.
Yeah, it certainly did. I mean, a huge result tonight, well-deserved. You're going to be going home with a pretty good amount of money after this result. But, I mean, overall, the series, I know you didn't get your teammate tonight, but a pretty cool setup. How'd you feel about it, and do you want to see more of it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is it's a great guys that set this up. I'm part of it myself, but my teammates set this up, and I really enjoy it, and I'd like to see more of it.
Absolutely. Well, a great run tonight, Mark. So before we let you head out to celebrate, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I want to shout out to my team. Sorry, Logan, for getting you right at the line, but you made out all right. Thank you, Austin, Kenny, for putting this on. It's been a great time.
Certainly has, and thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the third place finish, and hopefully we'll see you out here next season.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, and now that is going to bring us to your second place finisher here on the night, Jason Maines. Jason, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy? We'll give him just another minute here. Hey, Jason, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy? Try him one more time. Hey, Jason, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy? Looks like we can't.
Yeah, I got you.
There we go. Well, hey, you know what? As much as I hate to say it because I know you weren't on the good end of it, you just gave us one of the craziest finishes we've ever seen. Margin of victory, from what I'm showing, was less than 1,000th of a second. I mean, I can't even tell who got it coming across the line, but there were some decisions that you had to make in those last couple of laps. And how much harder were those decisions when you didn't have a teammate tonight to help? We seem to have lost Jason again.
No, it's the push to talk. I have to do push to talk in here. Yeah, it was tough. I was trying to help Garrett as much as I could, and he was trying to help me, and just never worked out on pitting and coming down pit road together because I was on the outside every time. But there at the end, thought we were in a good place before the last caution, and then there at the end, when I feel like we definitely were going to win that race hands down, and then when Logan got turned a little bit, it caught me, but in the end, it's on my screen it has me ahead of him, so I don't really know, but it was a good race. I'm happy for him to get the W as well and Garrett to get in the top 4.
Certainly a good race. Well, you came into this as a big dog, and you did not disappoint here tonight. Do you want to see more of the series in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Just a little bit earlier for me. That's what I was telling Kenny, the old man syndrome.
I'm in the same boat. Tell you what, at least tonight I sure am. Well, before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out for the final time this season?
I got to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Everything we do is for him. Thank Garrett for the push there at the end. And a lot of fun for the racing here, you doing the broadcast and Kenny putting on this series. Had a great time with it, and looking forward to the future.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for talking to us, and hopefully we'll see you next season.
Thank you, sir.
All right, and now that's going to bring us to your winner here on the night. He felt like he's been making mistakes the last couple races, money racing-wise this week. Boy, he did not make a mistake tonight. Logan York, this is Austin the booth. Got a copy? And we will try him here again in just a moment. Hey, Logan, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy?
I got you.
All right. Well, first question I've got is run us through what the emotions were. I mean, coming to the white flag, you're in a decent position to have a chance at the championship. You notice you go dead right. Next thing you know, you're straight, and then you got a chance to win it. Coming to the line, you win it by less than 1,000th of a second. I mean, what was going through your head the entirety of that last lap?
Yeah, I almost got molly-handed there. You kept hitting me under caution, so I was kind of pissed off coming to that restart. And I knew he was going to try something there because I even told him, I'll give you your entry fee back if you don't wreck me there. And then as soon as I said that, he went to the right and just tried to intent wreck me. But he still lost, so it's all good. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I thought I would be honored to even finish in the top 4 there after that. It was just a good situation for us. Nash got messed up on that pit entrance, or that pit exit. I don't know what happened to him, but just I'm glad to do this for him too. He did a great job all season. He carried the torch there and getting us in here. So for me to pull my weight there was just amazing.
To say maybe carried the torch for the season, but man, you carried it right there at the end when it mattered most. So congrats on the win and the championship. Before we let you head out to celebrate, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, of course. I want to thank Kenny for putting the show on. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I want to thank Nash for being my teammate throughout this event. It was just awesome to work with him. I'm sure I'll be sure to push him whenever I see him on the track from now on. I want to thank everybody that watches this on YouTube, and that's it.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the win tonight. See you next season.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. And before we wrap things up here tonight, taking a look at what the finishing results are. Logan York, again, your winner, and his team, of course, his teammate Nash Bravilla, they are your season champs for the Little Dog Big Dog Series. Jason Maines brings home second, Mark Vondell in third, Garrett Maines fourth, Samuel Carter in fifth, Michael Triscaro sixth, David Sheet seventh with Nash Bravilla in eighth, Aubrey Thompson in ninth with Joshua McCullough rounding out your top 10. John Mullihan in 11th, Richard Elliott in 12th, Jeremy Osborne 13th, Ron Morse Jr. in 14th. And actually Richard Elliott was the last man on track. The other ones were not drivers in this race. That's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. Again, what a race it was. What a finish. Congrats again to Logan and his team. Did a phenomenal job, especially when it mattered most at the end. Big congrats to Mark Vondell as well. Boy, he made the most of it when it counted tonight with the top 3 finish. And then, of course, getting third in the championship battle without a teammate. Jason Maines, hats off to him. Second in the championship battle without a teammate as well. But nonetheless, with all that being said, thank you all so much for coming out, sticking around tonight. Even though it was late, had fun. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, have a good night.